but so nobody saw this.
Now they have seen you.
Oh, good. So, hello. This is my first live stream, so welcome. I see there are some people watching, and I'm really happy about that. For the ones who don't know me, probably not so many people here, I'm Boukje and I'm a vocal teacher. And because of coronavirus, I cannot teach in my studio anymore. And so I'm doing some live streams for my students. You can hear me?
Yes.
Great. So this is my first live stream, and it's going to be all about the breath. And today I'm just gonna give information on the breath, and then on Friday there will be another live stream, and in that live stream I'm gonna do kind of a workout with a lot of exercises about the breath. So that's gonna be really nice. Please take this information today, take notes if you want, and on Friday come back for the workout, and so you will understand more what those exercises are about. So sometimes I go back to my presentation because I prepared something. First, the contents. So what am I going to speak about today? The first topic is how breathing works, and with that I mean normal breathing, the breathing that you do in your sleep or when you're working on your laptop and you're thinking about other things. Then I'm going to talk, of course, about breathing in singing, and I'm gonna give the basics of what it means to breathe in singing. What is the difference between breathing in singing and the normal breath? So then there is 3 common misconceptions because we cannot see how we breathe. There are sometimes images used for explaining it that don't work, or even there is wrong information about what you should do when singing. And so I want to tackle the most important misconceptions of breathing during singing. Then I am going to speak quickly about breathing in different styles, because I have students that study classical singing with me, but also students that sing pop, rock, or even other types of music, world music, for example. Then after that I will have some room for questions. So please put questions in the comments. Also, if you have questions about another topic, maybe I will not do them today, but maybe I can do another live stream on that topic. So please put all the questions that you have in the comments. Luca is there, he's sitting over there, and he is gonna take care of the comments and make sure that they come to me. So let's start. How breathing works. I prepared a prezi. First one. I'm a bit too big. So, first one. How does the breath works? So I'm going to speak about the mechanisms of normal breathing. That's, as I said, breathing you don't need to think about, and this is very important because these are mechanisms that you cannot exactly feel. And they mostly concentrate around the most important muscle for breathing, the diaphragm. So let's have a look at the diaphragm. The diaphragm is a muscle, as you can see in the picture over there, that is located in between the bottom of your ribs. And I'm gonna go to a video so you can see how it moves during breathing. Luca, are there any questions already? No? Also, say who you are in the comments so I know who's watching, if you're my student, if you're another singer, or just a random person. I like to know. So here we have the video of the diaphragm, and you can see that it has a dome shape, and it can kind of flatten out. So now it's flattening out and it's going back in, and it's flattening out and it's going back in. Basically, what happens is when you breathe in, it contracts and it flattens down. And that makes that your rib cage is going to expand. And when you breathe out, it's going back to its original dome-shaped form. So the in-breath is down and it makes the rib cage expand, and back it's the out-breath is it goes back up. So let's have a look again. So you can also see here really nice in this video that the rib cage is expanding. So really nice that this muscle does this, but what happens after this happens? When after the diaphragm, for example, flattens. So let's go back to the presentation. Yeah, you cannot feel this diaphragm moving because it's unconscious movement mostly, and you cannot feel the diaphragm. We will come to that, how you can still manage to control your breath in singing, but that involves some other muscles. We will get to that. So the diaphragm flattens while breathing, and let's go to the next one. The breathing in. As the rib cage expands, the volume of the lungs it increases, and that makes the air pressure drop because there is more space in the lungs and less air, which makes that the air pressure outside is higher and the air wants to flow into the lungs. So actually, when you flatten out the diaphragm, the air flows in automatically. So you can also see it on the picture there with the plus, that's the air pressure outside, and the minus is the air pressure inside. So it always wants to balance out the air pressure so that it's the same as outside. I know that it is a little bit behind in the stream, so if you have any questions about it, please ask me and maybe I will come back to it a little bit later. So we go to the breathing out, which kind of works of course the same. The diaphragm goes back and the rib cage descends, and the volume in the lungs decreases, but there is still the same amount of air, so the air pressure is higher and the air wants to go out to where the air pressure is lower outside in this world. And that's also what you can see in the picture. So this is really an automated process because it's our survival to breathe. And if we would have to think about inhaling breath and blowing out breath all the time, we would die very quickly, even without the virus. Is there any question, Luca? So we go to the breathing in singing, because there is a difference between the normal breath and the breathing in singing, and that is of course that you want to control the breath to not just flow out, but to gradually flow out of your lungs. So like a balloon that is that you hold with the thing that the balloon doesn't flow out, but the air is really gradually going out. So that is what you want in singing. I'm gonna give you the basics of how you can do this controlled airflow. So let's go there. Here you see the balloon. So you need the muscles for breathing out, and I will say which ones are those later. And it's very important already to remember, never tense everything or relax everything in singing. There is always going to be a balance between tension of the muscles and the relaxation of muscles. And then 4 is very important as well. We are now speaking mostly about breathing out, because breathing in is just letting go. Because if you let go here, the air again, so if you lock, for example, all of this, you contract, you have like no space here, and so of course there is not so much space for the diaphragm to descend, and so you cannot breathe out nor breathe in very well. And so if you loosen it, the air flows in automatically. So that's very important. Breathing in is just letting go of your muscles here. Yeah, I had a nice picture about airflow versus breath pressure. But where is it? Ah, yeah. So, what we want is a balanced airflow. So, this also doesn't mean that we want the air to stop. We still want the air to flow out, but in a balanced way. So, if you can see on the graph in this picture, you can see that if you have a very high airflow, the breath pressure is low and you get a very breathy sound. Like this. You don't want me to speak all the time like this, because now I just have too little pressure. When at the other end of the graph you have really little airflow and really a lot of breath pressure, you get a very pressed sound. And it sounds like this, and you also don't want me to speak like that for the whole live stream, and also I don't want that. So I'm gonna go for a balanced sound, and with that the airflow and the breath pressure are balanced together. So there is not too much airflow, and which makes also that there is less pressure. The other picture is for later. So, and why also? Because my elastic band, I have to get it here. Because with the phonation, so the sound of the vocal cords, it's very important. They only sound with a certain balance of air. So for example, if I have this elastic band and I blow to it, they are now my vocal cords, like they're here inside. And if I blow to it as though I would do a normal breath, you don't hear anything. If I blow really little with really pressed airflow, you also don't hear them. I hope that they are gonna get stuck. Yeah. So if you have the right airflow, they're gonna sound. So that is also why it's very important, because you will hurt and damage your vocal cords if you use too little airflow or too much. Are there any questions, Luca? So now we go to the muscles of support. There are a few muscles that are important in regulating breathing out in singing. They are, for example, the abdominal muscles, the muscles that also elevate the ribs, and also the muscles of the pelvic floor over here. And these are the most important, and also the ones that you can feel best and control best. And so, for example, I have this other picture that I promised that I would get back to it. Is this where you can also feel your support. So, for example, you see up here, that's the xiphoid, or in Dutch it's called borstbeen. It's really easier for people to understand if they speak Dutch. The borstbeen. So here you can feel it if you make a tone, then you can see also with me that it pushes out a little bit. Then there is the waistband. You can see also it pushing out. And then there is here, yeah, I don't think you can really see it now, but there's also the point over here that's also very important. And these are places where you can feel if your support is working or not. And so it's important that you don't lock all the muscles of your abdominal, all your abdominal muscles. So don't go to the sporting school to train all your six-pack for singing, because it doesn't necessarily help. And if they are too tense, it can even work against you to have a big six-pack. But if you know how to relax it well, it should not be too much a problem. But this always needs to be really soft. So go back. Yeah, there is a video with more details, but it's not working now, and also I don't plan to show it now. So I will put a link to the Prezi in the description section, so you can see back the Prezi and also see this video if you want to know more about specific muscles that you need, because there are, for example, also muscles in the back here that you can use, that are used sometimes for breathing, and yeah, they are just not as important as the ones that I told you before. Ta-da. So now we're gonna do a little exercise ourselves to feel it. And we're gonna do an exercise to feel where you can feel your support, and also to experience how you can increase or decrease the airflow. And we're gonna start with that. And it's just on an F. Let's go back to my webcam here. So it's just on an F, like that. And you're gonna start with really a lot of airflow. So it's almost like a sigh. And then after that, you're gonna go gradually from a lot of airflow to little airflow. So you're gonna start off sighing, but gradually you go on to the other end of the graph, to the pressed airflow, just to feel how that feels, and then you go back again. So let's do it quietly together a few times. And already when you breathe in, try to, again, just let it go. Just already try that. That's a good exercise already to start. Oh, no, we start with sighing. So Luca, is there a question? No? Okay, because I see writing. So I will wait a few seconds until all of you are done. No. So we're gonna do the second exercise just to feel your support. So you're gonna sing on an oo, for example, an oo vowel, and just actually use a pitch that is really comfortable for you. Doesn't need to be super high or super low. So you start with now my phone. I have to get it thought it was on silent mode. So, where was I, Luca? Ah, yeah, with the exercise. So you start on oo, and you just do oo, 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 and see if oo, 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 oo. You can feel things somewhere. It doesn't matter. I can feel it here and here, and if I get higher, I can feel it also more down, for example. It doesn't matter where you can feel it, as long as you try to feel something, because that's the first step, to feel where you can feel your support, so you can even get more, power is not really the right word, but can control it better. Let's say it like that. Ooh, ooh, ooh. So feel, for example, if you feel this tightening up. E, E, you can do it on E. E, E, ooh, ooh. So, did you feel something, anybody? So let's go on. Are people writing? No. I go on. Dear. And so on Friday we're gonna do more exercises, a lot more exercises that also go deeper into controlling the breath. This was just some exercise to feel something. And now we're going on to the misconceptions. So, first misconception, we have to breathe in as much air as possible. This is something I see a lot in my students when they just start, and actually it's also really common with more advanced students also, and I still get into that trap sometimes. For example, we want to suck in a lot of air, and before we want to start singing, we want to make absolutely sure that we're completely filled with air so we can get through the whole sentence. But not all the sentences need all the air. And also, if you breathe in everything that you have, so for example, you now breathe in really consciously, at some point you feel you get stuck. And if you're at that point, first, before you sing, you have to breathe out really a lot. And you lose your support and you lose the right airflow. So never get until this point that you're completely stuck. So the breathing in is just the letting go, and you can let go a little bit or all, but you never need to get more air, and you can even think to get less. So if you just need to sing a very short sentence, you can also start out with less air. It's more efficient. So then, we have to suck in the air actively. We already saw that, as though we would have to get the air into our body, but it flows automatically in. But we already spoke about that one. Then we control the breath from the diaphragm. This is something that you hear a lot. It's called like diaphragm breathing. And of course, we are doing diaphragm breathing because our diaphragm always moves during breathing. But this is not the part where you can control the breath. You can control the breath here and here, as I told you. And so, you have also something like belly breathing, but it's all working together. So you cannot say, just breathe from here or from there. In the end, the diaphragm moves and air comes into your lungs, but the control, the support is way around that. So it's around that, and it's not like one thing that is responsible for everything, and it all needs to work together. And the funny thing is that they're even not completely sure. We don't understand everything that happens with breathing during singing. So we understand more and more, and all those things are very important. That we can use the muscles of the abdominal muscles and of the pelvic floor, the, how is it called? The pubic symphysis, so the muscles more down. But the exact combination of how do you tense it or whatever, that's not really fully understood. And also it's not important because always important because we cannot control it in that way that okay, let's now tense a little bit of this muscle and then my breath will flow out a little bit less, for example. So it's better to concentrate on the airflow instead of only on the muscles. If your muscles are weak, of course you need to train them, and there are exercises for that you can pay attention but during singing it's better to concentrate on the airflow. So then we have to tense all the abdominal muscles. It's a no-go because everything will contract and everything will sound pressed and it can really harm your voice. And then this is also an important one. You have to keep out your ribs during exhalation. Your ribs expand, and some teachers say that they need to stay like this as long as possible. But of course, when you breathe out, they go in anyway. And so how much they go in is just now I cannot get the English word. It's just it follows up how much air you breathe out. So if the airflow is really high, it goes in quickly. If the airflow is low, because for some styles it's better to keep it a little bit lower, I will talk about that later, then of course it goes in slower. So we go back. That were the misconceptions. And we go on to the different styles. No, now I have to move myself. There. So it also depends how much airflow you need on which style you sing and which sound you want to make with your voice. I am trained classically, and you see, for example, the second point, that is pop, neutral head voice, or classical, which is in women also a lot of head voice. It needs to be mostly in the balanced airflow, so in the middle. The airflow is really controlled, that it doesn't go out too much, but still it keeps all the time flowing in the same amount, so it keeps flowing. And the breath pressure is, according to that, also calm, but not that much. And so that could make a sound like this. Na, or if you have more poppy, na. But if you want, for example, a poppy, breathy sound like Mariah Carey, then the airflow needs to be higher. And so there's less pressure and less resistance on the vocal cords. This you can only do in a very soft voice, because otherwise, if you go and do it loud, it's also harmful for the voice. And then there is the chest voice, for example, or the belt one. It usually needs less airflow and a little bit more pressure. Hey! It's less airflow. You can keep this tone for a really long time because you don't need to breathe out so much. And there is a little bit more resistance to that. So the graph that I had before, there is kind of a safe zone of how much airflow you can have. And it all depends on which sound you want to make. of course, still you need to have this control over your airflow. So that's very important. Yeah, and also, for example, when you sing loud, there is more airflow, and when you sing soft, there is less airflow. But of course, that is within these sounds that you make, because if you make this breathy sound, you still need to sing very soft. Look, are there any questions? So what can you do for your breath, and what are we gonna do on Friday? So there are exercises for strengthening the muscles that are needed for controlling the exhalation, strengthening them but not locking them, to maximize your capacity and your control. And because also some people, they are just too weak in those muscles, so they really need to train them to be able to keep the support of the voice, but by making sure that you stay flexible at all times. And so Friday I want to do an exercise workout for both of these things. So we're gonna work on strengthening and on controlling the airflow, but also on making sure that our airflow is flexible and that we can adjust it. So I think this was my presentation. And so the next thing is questions. I don't think until now there are questions.
No, there are not, but check on from your laptop.
How can I see the comments?
You access the video.
Okay. No. I have to go live to the live stream.
Yeah.
Sorry guys, I'm still new to this. And I have to go live to the live stream.
Yeah.
Sorry guys, still new to this. This is stop chat, live chat. But I see only messages of you.
Okay, so therefore.
Well, in the meantime that you're gonna think of questions, I'm gonna announce this booklet as well that we made for the studio. It's like a planner of your music homework. Well, that sounds more boring than it actually is, because in this booklet you can plan like all the exercises that you need to do for the week. You can plan the days on which you want to do them. And then you can write here, for example, parts in your music that are hard or that you need to study still, so you can you can remember to study them first before you get through all your music at once. Then there is the question of the week, which is a fun thing. Which one is this? When is the right time to start practicing something new? Or for example, practice 5 minutes with a mirror nearby, or video it if that's hard. Pay attention to your posture. What do you notice? What do you notice you like or dislike? So there are some questions as well. We are going to sell it, and it's gonna be around when is the right time to around 10 euros it was, right? For our students. Exactly 10 euros for students, and for other people 15 euros. And you can order it on our website. Pay attention to your posture. It will go online, I think, this week. So yeah, you're free to buy it and to check it out. There will be a PDF available. If you leave your email address, PDF available of what is in it, so you can have a better look. So 10 euros it was, right? For our students. Exactly 10 euros for students. The live chat door kan ik deze
And
live
you can
chat
order
doorsturen
it on
aan
our
vrienden.
website. It will go online, I think, this week. So yeah, you're
Yeah.
free to buy
I
it.
start
Check it
chatting.
out. There will be PDFs available.
Luca is like,
Email address.
so yeah, of course you can send it. It will be available on YouTube later, and so it will be on the internet forever. You can share the link with anyone you like, and yeah, also if you missed the beginning part, you can also see it. Okay. Yes, if Renske wants to ask something, she can. Yeah, by the way, you can ask questions also in Dutch. It's not necessary to ask them in English or Italian. Luca understands it. Later, and so it will be on the internet forever. You can share the link with anyone you like. Yeah, but I don't know. She cannot type, or okay. Yes, if Renske wants. Yeah, so you can also. You can also join in on Friday if you missed part of this lesson. As I said, you can watch it back. And yeah, if you missed it, it's not like I'm gonna check who's there and who isn't. So yeah, of course you can join. Yeah, but I don't know. She cannot type, or yeah. So you can also. Any other questions? Because I think I'm gonna end the live stream now. I hope you guys had something, yeah, liked it, and had some useful information about the breath. Oh, my sister, she cannot type, but I don't know why, because I never did this before. So thank you for watching, and so be back on Friday. On Friday, I'm not gonna talk that much. We're all gonna do together some exercises on Friday. It's also at 6 o'clock. And so please be there. If you are not there, also you can watch it later, but it's more fun for me when there are people watching. So please come also at the live time. So thank you for watching, and
Yeah,
so be back
at
on
6.
Friday. On Friday, I'm not gonna talk that much. There is not the sound here. I didn't change anything, so I don't know why you can hear me double. So Luca, can you type in the comments that next Friday, this Friday, there is the live stream at 6, so people know it. People watching, so
Okay.
please come also. Yeah, I didn't change anything. Well, that's it for today. Thank you so much. Have a really nice evening. Stay healthy and stay safe, and stay inside as much as you can. And hope to see you on Friday. Bye. This Friday there is the live stream at 6, so people